Testing 1, 2, 3. What's going on? What's up? What's going on? Let me just make sure. Awesome. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Man of Prestige Live. We have some trendy topics that I wanted to talk about today. As usual, while I do pick some of these trending topics and news, I do have some specific news, lessons that I feel like we could get out of them from a perspective of a man, and hopefully in the direction of becoming a man of prestige, right? So as always, I like to shed some light. I hold men accountable in this space. I don't particularly spend too much time on holding women accountable. I will when I do feel like it has nothing to do with a relationship with a man, right? Because yes, women are adults as well. However, when it comes to inter-relationship, especially if it's intersexual relationship between a man and a woman, I will be holding the man accountable, precisely because I believe men have the choice of engaging their power anytime they choose to. With that being said, that is not an absolute. There are exceptions to every rules. We just tend to focus more so on trying to make it absolute. There's no absolutes, right? And if you know anything about life, you'll understand that there's no absolutes. With that being said, you should expect this. If you don't pay attention to what I just said, you should probably expect this to happen to you.
Hey! Wait! Hey! Wait! Hey! Wait! Get off of me, nigga!
Help me!
What's wrong with you, nigga?
Come on! Where my glasses?
Get off of me before I drop your goofy ass again. Now beat that, bitch ass nigga. Pay for this shit. Hurry up.
No,
Pay
come
for
on.
that shit and hurry up before I drop your
Yo.
ass again. Touch me, then I'm
Yo,
gonna drop
stop
you.
video for they
Quit
help
touching
me.
me.
You got my key.
Quit touching
Somebody
me,
help
bitch.
you.
No,
Somebody help
come
you.
All right, so let's get straight to the news. We're talking about Rihanna, right? So Rihanna has been trending, I don't know, for like straight 2 days. I'm not sure if she's trending in the United States anymore, but she's still trending in Nigeria the last time I checked, because I guess she's just trending worldwide. So there's a news that broke out over the last, I guess, 48 hours that she is pregnant with her first, right? And that's kudos to her. Congratulations to her. Now, the guy that she's pregnant for, I haven't particularly followed. I haven't really followed him. ASAP Rocky, because frankly, I'm not that much of a rap fan, unless we're talking about pop, like pop level of rap. Like the Tupacs, the Biggies, like the Jay-Z's, right? But you start to go down that rabbit hole, you lose me very, very quickly. All right. So, but ASAP Rocky, some people may argue with that. He's actually very, very popular. But again, I'm letting you know right now that not to me, at least, right? So, there's a a lot of things came up since that news broke out. Even Drake. I think she was romantically involved with Drake at one point. Even Drake was also, was also trending because of this, right? Now we also know her past history with Chris Brown, the violence that happened between the two of them, right? So I am going to share my screen. Then the other thing that also came up was the fact that. She's now a billionaire. I think she's worth 1.4, somewhere between 1.4, 1.7, something like that, right? So let me see here. Okay, there we go. All right, so you can see right there on the Forbes, right? So a couple of things came up again. This is ASAP Rocky right here. Let me just make sure you can see my screen. There you go. Singer billionaire. So she's referred to as the billionaire. These days, a lot of people don't realize that she's actually officially a billionaire, right? Now, let me put a billionaire in perspective. I actually heard this on another show. I'm not going to take credit for this. The difference between a million and a billion is essentially 1 million minutes, I think. 1 million seconds is essentially 11 days. 1 billion is No, 1 billion is, I think they said 31 years, something like that, right? But something crazy. The point is that there is quite a lot of money, okay, as far as her net worth is concerned. Now she has she one thing you can that I would personally, just off of reading up a little bit about her, one thing I would definitely attribute that to is is team. Basically, she has the right team around her, right? Um, when you have the right team around you, anything is literally possible. Okay, anything is possible. Now there are many people that may not be as talented as Rihanna that would never see not even 1/1000th of the kind of money that we're talking about, right? Has a lot to do. Not say a lot of young ladies will probably run with the Rihanna and say, after all, Rihanna waited, Rihanna got her money up, she got her bus level up, and then, and then now she's pregnant and ready to pregnant with her boyfriend. All right, this is not normal. Okay, Rihanna is not operating at a normal level. She is nowhere near anything you would consider regular. So the last thing you want to do is compare your life to her, right? Of course, like I said, there's some lessons you can get out of it, like things like she's worked with the right team. Like I think there's just two white guys that picked her up, that created her first single, and then before they brought her to Jay-Z, and before the Umbrellas, right, the hit single Umbrellas, right. So I would just say that, like, be careful when you're running with that rhetoric. Like, oh yeah, you could just do that too. No, not necessarily. Plus, again, celebrities will give us one thing one day, and then 3 months down the line is completely a different story. Okay, so again, congratulations to her. I'm just saying, when you are a billionaire, um, there's nothing normal about this person's lifestyle, even if they are the best of the version of themselves, right? There's nothing that you can't really compare it together. It's completely different. And yeah, that's something I wanted to cover on that. But yeah, she was trending, and I thought, when I read up on it, the one little thing that I picked up that men can really learn from is that surrounding yourself with the right team. This is something that I struggle with. Okay, I'm very good at hiring people to work for me, but in terms of team that can, that we can work together to, I've done okay, but it's something I can definitely personally improve on personally. So yeah, let me go back to this new here. Let's see. He's our first child. Yeah, there were also speculations about the. I think they said something about the boyfriend has history of speaking down on black women. But again, ASAP Rocky. They're talking about ASAP Rocky now, right? Again, it's neither here nor there, right? It doesn't really matter once you get to that level. Um, we've seen Kanye West, how Kanye West has moved in recent times. We've seen that it could be one thing today, it could be another thing tomorrow. Things move extremely fast, and they are still humans, and they pay attention to what is being said about them in the media. You see Kanye West in recent times talking about he wants to control the rhetorics, he wants to control the narratives, as he puts it, right? And the truth is that that's a losing battle when you are that big. You have the luxury of all that money, but you don't necessarily have the luxury of being able to control your own narrative. And I know it's unfair, but it is what it is, right? Again, when you pray for a certain level of wealth, right, or status in society, be careful of what you're praying for. It just may not be what you want. Okay, so just keep that at the back of your mind, that everything in life requires some level of balance. That may just not be what you want. Okay. All right. So yep. So that's that with Rihanna. Right now, let's go to. Let me see. The next thing I wanted to talk about. I think people wanted to know how she became how she became rich, right? And I think it's necessary to know that information, right? Let's see here. Let me go back and share my screen with you. Let's see. There you go. All right. So I think she has a beauty line. She's not the only one that I think became a billionaire, right? Uh, Let me see here. 1 second. Yep. All right. So she is not. She's not the only one that became a billionaire. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Let's see here. All right. Um, 1 second. Sorry. All right, sorry about that. So yeah, she's worth about 1.7 billion. Literally, my mother-in-law just walked in, and I had to excuse myself really quickly. So 1.7 billion dollars, 1.2 billion euro. I think that's euro. Uh, Coming from Fenty Beauty. So she has a few other things going on. This is according to Forbes, right? And all of this is due to. So you can imagine she's a star. She's an artist. She's an actress. The only way this is possible is if you have the right team around you. You've seen the likes of maybe the Kylie Jenner and the Kim Kardashian built empires like this, but it's all due to the right type, the right brand around you. She's actually bigger, in spite of the fact that it looks like she's much more busier. She's actually an artist and she's actually an actress, right? So she's actually bigger than the Kardashians all put together, right? So as individuals rather, right? So a lot of it is coming from beauty. Beauty is essentially billions of dollars that women spent in that arena. So if you have a brand, if you have a personal brand, this is a great way that you can literally make money. Look at what markets are making money. Look at some of the products that you use, and then you can find a liaison, some kind of teamwork between the two, and make it work in your favor. Your brand, it becomes exposure, it becomes attention, right, for the product, right? So it's something that we know very much about in marketing, that attention is everything. Okay, like we can't cap about this. We need attention, 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 attention. All right, attention, attention, attention is very important in any type of business. All right. What's going on, Sahil? Thanks for coming by, brother. Thank you. Uh, yeah, so I do think so. The lessons here is partnerships. Okay, collaborations. Okay, Sahil knows much about that. Uh, if you are going to win and go big in life in any type of endeavor, you need to keep that at the back of your mind that you're not going to be able to do by yourself. It's a very difficult thing to realize, right? It's a very difficult thing. Let me just see here. Let me just make sure that I am on airplane mode. Make sure we don't get interrupted. All right. So the other lesson here is just stop comparing yourself to celebrities. Like this, it's two different worlds apart, right? Actually, as a matter of fact, for every level you get to, if you're a person making $50,000 a month, there's some things you can't comprehend that only people in the $200,000 level can comprehend. If you're a person that's making $200,000 level per, sorry, $200,000 per year, once you get to the million, you should expect that things will change, and you should prepare for that. A lot of people don't prepare for that. And speaking of preparing for, right about now, I think we should move on to the next thing on the agenda, and that's Tom Brady. Let's talk about Tom Brady. Let's talk about Tom Brady really quickly. The same lessons are applicable, but I have quite an interesting spin on this for Tom Brady. Facts, life and business are about people and collaborating. Yes, yes, yes. And I'm still looking forward to working more with you, sir. So we definitely have to be doing. If we instead of complaining about anything, definitely joining forces together to take over, even when it comes to power, right? power is taken, it's not given. If it's given, it's not really power. That means it can be taken back from you, right? That means you never really built the skill set to get that power in the first place. And I tell people this all the time, but hey, to each his own. Rewards, consequences, and time and patience is always the teller of the real truth. A lot of people will claim what is true or what is not true at any given period in time, but we know that time only tells us the truth. Speaking of time telling us the truth, right? We have Tom Brady here, right? So let me read this. This was a statement. So over the past few days, it's been trending. There was actually a rumor first. Now I am not a sports guy at all. I'm not an athlete at all. Um, Maybe a little bit in soccer, but a little bit, right? But I do think that sports can represent a lot of life lessons for us, and that's something that I really enjoy a lot about sports news. Uh, I A lot of time you'll find me call life a game, and people sometimes misconstrue that as I'm saying it's a joke. No, life is not a joke. It's a game because there are rules to the game, and you have to learn how to play it. And you don't get to say I'm just me, and life doesn't give you that benefit, right? Especially as a man, to say I'm just me, I'm just gonna be me, I don't want nobody trying to change me, right? That's not how life works, unfortunately. And if you know anything about life will kick you in the butt. Life will present curveballs, and you have to learn how to navigate. It's the same thing you see in a game, right? So even if you, yeah, like if you have a game, right, that's going on, somebody is sitting on the sideline, that person is still in the game, right? Effectively still in the game, because they could call on them at any time. So even sometimes you feel like you're on the sideline, you have to. There's a role that you're playing, which means you're on standby and you have to be ready to go when you're being called upon. And then also a person like Tom Brady, who is arguably the biggest footballer, American footballer of all times. Um, that's a role that only a few people get to play in life, right? Now, the lesson I wanted to take out of this is probabilities versus possibilities. This is something I'm extremely big on. I do notice that a lot of men are more inclined to talk about the probabilities today more than the possibilities, right? As far as what to aspire towards, right? I do see that they use it as excuses to not be the better version of themselves, right? It's more so about what the statistics says and what the facts says and what the data says, right? And while those things are very, very important, I think Sir Hale spoke to this in one of his live streams. He was talking about, I think you were a guest. I think it was a guest on somebody else's platform, but you talked about the pragmatic part of things and the practical side of things. Pragmatic versus, I forgot the word that he used, but some of us are pragmatic. Some of us, we also know that there's great possibilities in life. The level where Tom Brady has decided to retire at 22 seasons is literally unheard of when you think about the average, when you think about statistics, right? So what is the average length of an athlete's lifespan in their career, right? I think it's less than 5, right? I think majority. I think it's 40. Let me even check. First of all, let me read this statement here, right? So I've always believed the sport of football is an all-in proposition, right? So all in, all in, all in. Same thing we talk about in marriage, in relationships, in like even in business. When you decide to start an endeavor, right? You better be all in, all or nothing, or don't do it at all, right? Now, some people will push against that and say, hey, don't put all your egg in one basket, right? Now, obviously, context matters, right? Context matters, right? But in the grand scheme of things in life, if you really want to win big, you have to be all in on whatever it is that you believe in, because you really, really kill your chances when you go in half-ass, right? You have to put everything in. Now, again, it depends on what context. It depends on what we're talking about. It depends on what aspect of things we're talking about. So it's very, very important to understand context and what we're talking about. I'm saying, though, in the grand scheme of things, we have to really, really pay attention to the nuances and the context and not just speak in absolutes. I think only little boys speak in absolutes, just in general. I think people that lack experience speaks in absolutes. Okay, because when you understand life, you start having certain level of experience. You just know that it's not wise to speak in absolute or move in absolutes. So Sir Hill says depends on sports. In football, it can be extremely low, 3 to 6 years in many cases. Yes, yes. And I think an average footballer makes less than $200,000 per year. But when people decide to have their sons involved in football as an aspiring thing, as an aspiration, they they're not saying, "Hey, I want my child to be the average." They want their children to be the best. Okay, so while I think yes, we should know probabilities but I think as individuals we should always strive to look at possibilities to be the best, right? To push ourselves. So how do you do that? You have to know your strength and your weaknesses. You have to identify what your strength and your weaknesses are, and don't pay too much attention to what your weaknesses are. Your weaknesses. There's only so much you can do with your weaknesses. Your weaknesses is basically things that, on a scale of 1 to 10, you're only a 3. You're a 3 or a 2 or at most a 4, and you can only go 3 levels at any point in time, right? Sorry, in any lifespan, in any life, you can only go 3 levels up. So that's if you try so hard, you can push yourself 3 levels up, right? So let's say you are a 2, and then you tried your best, but this is your weakness. You haven't identified that this is your weakness, so to you push yourself to 3. No, you push yourself to at most from a 2 to a 5 or a 6, and you're still mediocre. You're still less than average in whatever it is we're talking about. But whatever your strength is, you are already a 7. On your worst day, you are a 7. So you push yourself up 2 or 3 levels. You are the 9. You are the 10, right? And then you shine, and then you outsource anything that's your weakness. You give it to other people to handle it for you. You delegate. The same thing in marriage, the same thing in any kind of endeavor that's worthwhile in life. It's always going to take more than one person. We talked about this when we talked about Rihanna. It's teamwork, it's collaboration. There's some things you're good at, some things you're not really good at, right? So, for example, for myself right now, coming here talking about some of the celebrities and this trendy news, I speak from it from the life lessons we can get from it, right? And not necessarily all the gossipy part of the news, right? Because that's not my strength. I can read up a little bit. I can pull out some life lessons for myself. Instead of keeping that to myself, I decided to put it on a YouTube channel, and especially for men. Okay, so yeah, thank you for that, Sir Hills. Yes, on an average, we notice that if we go based off of that average, no one should be playing football, right? But yet we have millions upon millions of kids aspiring to play football. Now, should we judge them? Right? We can't judge them, right? It's not smart to judge them, right? Because if that happens to be your audience, you'll be speaking into blank air. They can't listen to you because they're aspiring to chase after their dreams. And I am never going to encourage the position of, oh yeah, let's just, let's just discourage people from chasing after their dreams. I think part of the beauty of life is the ability to be able to dream, right? A lot of us, we like the idea of Martin Luther King, but the things that these people accomplished were impossible, literally, at that point in time, right? Even Jesus Christ, the things that they talked about at their time were impossible, right? And life would not be life if not because we continue to push the edges and continue to push the envelope, right? So yeah, that's really what I wanted to pull out of it. But this guy is retiring after 22 seasons of being the greatest. He was breaking records up till last year, so he had reasons to even so. while you do that, we still have to be realistic. So yeah, I think you talked about pragmatic and being realistic, right? Well, pragmatic and being realistic almost fall on the same line. Again, if you remember the word and you're still here, please drop that word for me. Um, but yeah, it's about balance in life, right? We have to be able to dream. We have to be realistic, and people, your audience, your particular audience, the people you're speaking to, they're mostly dreamers. And yes, they dream about fantasies and things that will never come to light. But if you kind of discount that and you don't talk about that, then you can lose them in driving your message home, depending on what we're talking about, right? So yeah, I think this was quite interesting. He said, if a 100% competitive commitment isn't there, you won't succeed. That's life. That's literally life in general, right? And success is what I love so much about our game, right? There is a physical, mental, and emotional challenge, right? So, emotional challenge, right? In the men's space, we tend to discount emotions a lot. Feelings, emotions, we discount this, and literally that's what drives everything. That at least 85% of everything. Okay, yes, we do tend to reference the data for those of us that are pragmatic and all this kind of stuff, but those things are lagging indicators. These are results of people's emotions in the past. Those are results of people's greed, fear, anger, right? Those things transpired and then recorded data, and then we're quoting the data as the absolute truth to life. There's something faulty about that, something wrong with that, right? So emotional intelligence is necessary, and in any endeavor, including business, even business itself, you cannot discount the effect of emotions on business, because business is driven at least by these two emotions, greed and fear. I see people talking about marriage. Oh, for such a fantastic show you had on Sunday. I was on for the most of it, right? On Star Hill. I see people talking about is marriage a business. I'm like, that's like, what do you mean? It's both. It's all of the above, right? It affects your money. It affects your emotional status. Either as a man or woman. It doesn't. I get where the conversation is coming from, but I'm not sure if that's the conversation we're supposed to be having, right? So yes, emotions, even in sport, billions upon billions of dollars have moved hands in 22 seasons, and somebody is talking about emotional challenge. I think we should pick up something from there. Every single day, that has allowed me to maximize my highest potential, and I have tried my very best this past 22 years. There are no shortcuts to success on the field or in life. Now, I really like that statement. A lot of us are looking for shortcuts, right? We're looking for shortcuts, and and the way we showcase that is we're discounting. Not yet, but you can cash up. Thank you so much, Oceans 1313. Thank you so much. Not yet. Not until I'm going to review my stats at the end of this. Towards the end of this stream, I'm going to review my YouTube stats. By the way, I will be reviewing my YouTube stats all the way up to 1,000 subscribers. We're at 51 right now, all the way up to 1,000 and 4,000 hours. After that, I will kind of relax on that. And I said why when I talked about the TLA versus Nick and Knight on that live stream. So, Sir Hill says EQ is highly important. Yes, EQ, emotional quotient, I think, as opposed to just IQ. There's too many smart guys on the streets of YouTube, especially, that just don't know anything about life, and they're very smart, extremely intelligent people when it comes to the IQ, I guess. Maybe they will pass quantitative analysis here and there, but life is much more than that. Yeah. So yeah, I appreciate you, sir. Yeah. So let's go back here. Let's see. So there are no shortcuts to life, and so I see people try to discount emotions as a shortcut, right? Like, let's just eliminate emotions. Let's just get rid of it, right? It doesn't exist. Like, fuck all this emotion. Fuck your emotions, right? Fuck your feelings. We hear that quite a lot in the streets. And that's the actual BS right there. You can't do that. As a matter of fact, the person that's saying that is talking out of their feelings, right? You're gonna have to convince me that that's not you speaking out of your feelings when you say that, right? And the shortcut is like by saying let's turn it. And I get it. We have as human beings, we have an incredible thirst to answer every question. We want every question answered. So where's the space for faith if you get all questions answered, right? So either we're talking about business, right? I've said this forever. Before I got tested in my marriage, I used to say it about entrepreneurship. I said, if you want to test your faith, I used to say, if you want to test your faith, become an entrepreneur. Your faith will get tested every day of the week because it's just not that clear where you're moving. You know what your goals are, but there's gonna be curveballs and there's gonna be ups and downs and it's frustrating. That's what this guy means by the emotional challenge, right? And it can be frustrating, right? And most people will quit in any endeavors in life. It's not just MLMs, it's not just YouTube, it's not just football. Most people will quit. It is what it is. It's not a crime, it's not right, it's not wrong. It's neither there nor there, right? It's just the way these things work, okay? So, but then we look for shortcuts to avoid the emotional roller coaster of life and success and love, right? And then we want to shut down usually the biggest variable in all of it. The biggest variable in all of this is emotions, right? Literally, right? Literally drives 85% of everything, right? How do I know that? Well, I'm throwing that number out of my ass, to be frank. But in sales, we know that people make decisions to buy emotionally, and then they justify with logic later. 85% of the time is emotional decision. It doesn't matter how much you say it's not emotions. It's still emotional. No matter what you're buying, wherever you endeavors, you decide to engage in, right? Bottom line is that you're doing it out of your emotions. Something is engaging your emotions, right? Meaning you're not all the way being realistic. You're in a la la land. You're fantasizing about possibilities. So when we try to create a shortcut and get to the answers fast, and we try to use our mouth and we run our mouth like diarrhea and say, oh yeah, fuck emotions. No, it's bullshit. See, listen, I hear people say they want to avoid marriage and avoid relationships because somehow it's a shortcut to happy life. I got news for you. Unless you live in a cave, right? You're going to have to deal with human beings. And yes, they will test your emotions. And your emotional control is still going to be an integral part of your success, right? So that's what I got from that shortcuts right there. There are no shortcuts to success on the field or in life. This is difficult for me to write, but here it goes. I am not going to make that competitive commitment anymore. So this is a guy who knows when to stop. Men need to know when to stop. Either we're talking, either we're going after some kind of goal. We need to know when to stop. We need to know when to pull back. We need to know when to do the 3-step forward and 2-step backwards. That's the kind of game we play in marriage and in romantic relationships in general. Is game. A lot of little boys on this YouTube streets, we just go heavy in, and then they expect their message to land. Your message will not land if you're aggressive. If you bomb rush anything like that, your message will not land. The other person will feel attacked, and the natural next step is to defend themselves. And the defense usually comes in the form of an offense. It's against you, right? And then you go back and forth, and then you have a chaos. And that's what we can see happening everywhere in the world right now. This is difficult to me, right? I'm not going to make that competitive commitment anymore. I have loved my NFL career, and now it's time to focus my time and energy on other things that require my attention. Yeah, so when we try to do shortcuts, we essentially spend a lot more time we spend a lot more time than we need to on crap, on nonsense, right? And that's a problem, you know. We're looking for shortcuts, but we spend longer time beating around the bush, right? As opposed to suffering, right? Especially men. Men need to embrace suffering. Absolutely. If it feels like it's tough, it's difficult, again, you need to learn when to back off, right? But again, a lot of times it's just, hey, you need to lean in, and there's something, if you're confused, there's something new to learn, right? It takes discipline to start. Equally as true, it's discipline to stop as well. Yes, a lot of wisdom involved in that, because again, you can start feeling invincible, and you start feeling feel the sense of pride, the unhealthy ego, right? Pride, and you don't know when to stop, right? So this is very, very important, right? So yeah. Let's go to the next trendy news that I wanted to cover today was about this one is another good one, another good one. We're going to talk about Whoopi Goldberg. Okay, we're going to talk about Whoopi Goldberg. We're in very challenging times, right? Very very challenging times we are in, right? Um, news, some of this news is, I mean, it's all about the. Everyone is sensitive. Let's just call it what it is, right? Everyone is highly sensitive, beyond measures. You have to watch your mouth, right? You could say the wrong thing very, very, very quickly, right? And a lot of it I will attribute to the fact that people just, again, people are looking for fast answers. They want answers to everything right now, right? And the truth is that life is always a move of faith. That you just, if you're driving from New York to California, you can only see so many feet, right? So many feet. So you can't even see. I mean, we're talking about what, 3 to 5,000 miles. You can only see a few, maybe 100 feet in front of you at maximum. You can only see. I don't care how good your vision is. You can only you can only see so much as far as the distance you're going in front of you, and that's just how life is. But everyone is looking for answers. So in this effort to get answers, questions, and instant gratifications, people have very low tolerance. You see people confusing boundaries with low tolerance. You see that everywhere. People are very quick to say boundaries. Now, I value boundaries in relationships, in life in general. But when I hear people say boundaries these days, when I hear a few more sentences, what they're talking about is the fact that they have low tolerance. They have very low tolerance for other people, their wives, their girlfriends, and they're very quick to react negatively to something that triggers them. In fact, they get triggered by the word trigger, and they use the word trigger so much. I'm like, yo, the word has lost its value. That particular word, trigger, boundaries. No one is talking about tolerance, right? And you can see it in the media, right? Now, I might say what she said. What did she say? Let's even talk about what she said, right? What did Miss Goldberg say? Miss Goldberg used to be an actress, a comedian. She's now on The View, I think, one of the daily shows, which most of the audience is ladies, right? So I think there's The View. I'm not sure if it's The View or The Real. But let's see here. She said she's running her mouth. That's what she does for a living, right? She said, I don't want to fake apologize. Well, anytime you say that, that's not really an apology. If you start your apology with, I don't want to fake apologize, that is not an apology. You can't call this racism, all right? Okay, so Whoopi Goldberg apologizes and seemingly doubles down on Holocaust comments. So basically, she said something to the effect that Holocaust was not about race. Okay, and I noticed us black people, we do this a lot. Anything that doesn't involve black people, we kind of discount it. Anything that doesn't involve our own group of people, we discount it, right? Every group of people who does this, right? Hey, don't compare your experience to mine. Don't discount my experience, and that's effectively what we do to each other when we even go in that direction. We don't respect other people's experiences. We tend to do that a lot, you know. Now, I just said black people would do that, but the truth is that I don't have a white person's experience, so maybe they do the same thing. I would probably argue and bet that they also do the same thing. Humans are humans in general. However, she said the Holocaust was not about race, right? And about 6 million people took an offense to that, right? So, and then she came back and apologized because she realized that some people has felt offended by this sentence, right? Her submission was basically, she was saying that it's a fight between two groups of white people. So because it's a fight between two groups of white people, she's basically said it wasn't about race, right? And people took an offense to that. So she said, I don't want to fake apologize. You can't call this racism. Goldberg said on the Late Show. So she went on the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, I think of race as being something that I can see. So that's how she's always learned it. How can you say it's about race when you're fighting each other? So now clearly the environment in public, I guess mainstream media does not, they don't appreciate this. So she's getting a lot of pushback about this. Now, here's the lesson that I feel like we can get out of this, right? The lesson. Okay, I think she's on the View. Yeah, let's be truthful about it, because Holocaust isn't about race. That was the original statement, right? Now, everyone thinks that their own experience is the most authentic and the only thing that should be valid. People do this all the time. You see men doing it, right? Even more so than ever before. Men never used to do this, but men are crying out and they're saying, "Hey, we should be able to cry too, right?" In the name of holding women accountable, right? They do this. And again, we're very sensitive. We're getting more sensitive across board in general. And then you see women also pushing back and saying, "No, the experience of a woman, you just don't understand. You just don't understand it." And everybody's doing that. And at what point are we going to say two things or three things or four things can be true at the same time? At what point do we get to say that? I mean, we know that to be the reality in life, right? We know that two things can be true at the same time, right? At what point are we going to just acknowledge that and just say, yes, that's true, right? She said Holocaust wasn't about race, right? This is our experience. This is how she deemed it. Okay, she was corrected, right? At what point can we say it's okay for the people that were directly involved to feel like it's about race? Because again, it was about the Nazis versus the Jewish people, right? And the truth is that one group of people felt like the other was less of a race of people. What is the definition of race? Right? What is race? What is race exactly? Has that definition changed over time as well? And what's the difference between race and ethnicity, right? This is some of the conversations that we can have about this, right? Now, as that evolve over time. Now, one thing we know about pop culture is that meanings of words evolve over time, and the new meanings become the truth. That's why I said truth is always a function of time, and not just what you say. Just because you said it's truth doesn't mean it's the truth. The only thing that can tell me if it's truth or not is time, right? Maybe history, because history is also a function of time, right? Experience can also be closer to truth, right? We have a lot of people that lack experience claiming that something is the truth just because they read a book or two, right? So a race is a categorization of humans based on shared physical or social qualities, not just physical, Miss Goldberg, right? Also social qualities, right? Physical or social qualities into groups generally viewed as distinct within a given society. Generally viewed as distinct. So it's not just skin color, right? It's not just skin color. It's a lot more than that, okay? It's skin color will be the physical aspect of things, but from a social standpoint, you see people will say Hispanic people can be categorized as part of it. It's okay if they say nigger or not, right? Because again, some people start to normalize that they are also part of the community in a lot of ways, right? And if you don't move with wisdom in life, if you think of life in absolutes, you will continue to have these problems. And the problem in our society right now, precisely, is about we're still fighting each other as just a human race, right? So when you say human race, it actually discounts the meaning of race, right? It's almost like there's no such thing. The humans are humans. It's more like a species, right? Like a species of living things, right? But in efforts to bring us all together, you see people say things like human race. There's nothing wrong with that. When did we get to a point where we say, hey, it's okay for us to push that narrative because it builds as opposed to divide, right? What is wrong with that? And this is some of the problems that we're having across board. Okay. Now, how do we fix this in general? The only thing we can do is as individuals, we do better. as individuals, okay? And that helps the community at large over time. Now, if you're a teacher, if you're a person who runs YouTube channels, you can also help, right? Because a few people are listening to you at any point in time, and you can also help push these narratives in a better way. It's okay to give Miss Goldberg the grace that she's speaking, right? This is what I mean by sometimes I sound like I'm speaking from both sides of my mouth. I have to, because everything else is almost seems like we're causing more division, right? People that speaks in absolutes, people that speak in polarized views, right? Yes, they build bigger audience, but they create more division, if anything, right? So I think that's something we should pay attention to. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the last piece of this news today, and I have to bring you up to speed if you're in America on this news right here. Um, I'm a Nigerian, just in case you haven't figured that out yet. I'm a Nigerian by heritage. I was raised out there. I wasn't born there, but I was raised in Nigeria. Um, and the Africa in general. There's challenges with regards to leadership, and I have a different theory in terms of what's going to take to fix it. The gentleman you're looking at to my right, okay, to your right, is his name is Peter Obi. Is a guy who was actually a running mate with one of the major contenders for presidency in Nigeria in 2019. The other gentleman that you're looking at towards your left, his name is Tinubu, is actually the biggest godfather as far as I can tell in Nigeria right now. Okay? He was the governor of the most popular state, Lagos State in Nigeria, and then he became we can call him the cabal, the godfather of politics in Nigeria. And the truth is that many people saw this coming. Now he's about to run for presidency. In my opinion, I think he's going to win the presidency. Not because it's the most, not because it's the, what's the word I'm looking for? Not because it's the holiest of them, the most integrity-driven leader in Nigeria. Not none of that at all, right? Not because it's the one that's going to create the better change for an average person in Nigeria. It has nothing to do with that. As a matter of fact, I think it's everything opposite. I think the guy to your right is actually probably going to be the best, but it's precisely why the people will not vote for him. Okay, see, we put ourselves on this pedestal, and we put ourselves as human beings. We put ourselves on these pedestals, especially those of us that are quote unquote pragmatic. We know what the facts and the statistics. We become entitled because we are learned, and we don't pay attention to how power dynamics work, right? We become entitled. We have expectations based off of our knowledge based at any point in time, and the truth is that if your knowledge is limited to only things you can see and not wisdom beyond, not wisdom into the human mindset, you will effectively continue to lose. And that's what's happening with the black race across board, both on the continent and in the diaspora. Okay, we don't realize that we for every time we ask for power to be given to us, we become even weaker, right? Because it reveals our weakness to wherever you consider the enemy is, right? And that's what's going on at every level. Either you're talking about on the continent, in diaspora, at an individual level, right? All we need is 10% of people to really start to realize that this is about power, and it's about survival of the fittest, and not survival of the holiest. I know this is so unfair, right? This is the reality. That's how life works, okay? This is the reality. So the gentleman on the right hand side has decided to make his to declare his ambition to run for presidency. So in Nigeria, they have two main parties right now, and they try to act like they're Americans. They have the APC and they have the PDP. Now the godfather of the APC is the guy. His name is Tinubu. the guy you're looking at that's stretching his hands out, the one right above my head right now, right? And he's the godfather of APC, but not just APC. Actually, to be frank, Nigeria in general, the whole nation, right? And he can buy, he can buy the whole of Nigeria, okay? He can buy the whole of Togo, in terms of how rich he is, or at least how rich he is in terms of resources, and the fact that, you know, when people become leaders at this level, it's not just because they became leaders. They didn't fall out of the skies. It's because they found something that helped them. They found something that they're able to use to control the masses. Okay, so and that's what you're looking at. Now, the guy to your right is integrity. No one can question it. He used to be a governor as well of a state called Anambra State in Nigeria, and everybody will testify to how clean and holy and everything is. But he clearly lacks the ability to be able to take power. Power has to be taken. I don't care if we're talking about democratic system. I don't care if we're talking about otherwise dictatorship. Power has to be taken. And in order to take power, you have to understand the human mindset. And I'm sorry to say, I'm predicting it right now. The guy to your left, he's going to win in 2023. And there are many people, a lot of the most noisiest people right now on social media, they're noisy, they're loud for a reason. Usually, the empty barrel will make the loudest noise. Okay, and the most powerful people in the world, they move in silence in a lot of ways. Okay, they move in silence, and there's a reason, because again, they put all their energy into monitoring the human mindset and effectively using it to take power. It's not about weapons, it's not about physical weapons, it's not about any of that. It's about understanding the human mind. So this guy made his intentions known on Sahara TV. Shout out to Sahara reporters. And it says former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, has revealed that he would contest the 2023 presidential election if the PDP zones tickets to the south. So in Nigeria, tribalism is a big thing. Just if you learn that, it's a big thing. Again, we just talked about race, group of people, ethnicity, ethnic groups, right? In Nigeria, there are, I think, over 200 tribes. Okay, there's three major tribes: the Igbo, the Yoruba, the Hausa. But there's over 200 different, at least, languages, like completely distant languages that they can't understand each other. So when they were creating Nigeria and the institution they're working on right now, they have this thing that they call zone, and people can only run for presidency in certain parts of those zones. I think they have like 6 zones or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment or chat area. So he's saying if they move it to the south, he will run, right? He's making his ambition known. So let's see here. All the elections that I followed in the past, the party that I belong to today, the PDP, made a pronunciation and took a stand. At least in 2019, when I was involved, where I can say Atiku graciously chose me as his running mate. So he was a running mate 4 years ago. See, the most, let me just say this right here and then go to reviewing our YouTube stats for the day. The most a person like him is ever going to be is a running mate. That's my prediction. Now, I'll be willing to be wrong. If I am wrong, I will gladly bow, right? And I will say, yeah, I was wrong. There's a blind spot. It's very possible that I could be wrong. But based off of what I can see right now, he's the most he can be is another running mate, and there are people like that, right? You have the Yemi Oshiba Joes, right? They can be running mates. They can't really run the nation. They can run the nation. They cannot win the elections. Okay, the person that can win the election is Tinubu. Why? Because that nation is at a state where the nation is not producing anything for the rest of the world. And if a nation is not producing for the rest of the world, it comes down to capitalism. I'm sorry to say, that's the world we live in. And that means they have to depend on other nations. And that means they have to basically defeat the bottom. And that's what's going on. Until Nigeria starts to produce, and then they'll be able to take care of themselves, then they will stop depending on big political cabals. All right? So that's that. With that, I just wanted to share my insights on that. I'm continuing to pay attention. So Peter Obi has been trending because everybody on social media, the same people that never really get down to the voting booths, hailing him. But if you know anything about how Nigeria politics and politics in general, even in the United States, it works, it's not about social media. It's about the grassroots, and we know that these people understand that they already know you're going to be loud on the internet and do nothing about the fact that power will be taken from you, from the people again, right? They know this, and that's just the way these things work. All right. So yeah, that's that right there. Just wanted to share my insights on that. I think I think I think it can't keep going like that forever. I think something will change. You know, we just don't know when. That's why I think it's very possible that I could be wrong. But based off of stats, history, and trend, and based off of what I've watched Nigeria did in the last 25 years, that I've actually paid a little bit of attention, especially in the last 5 years. I think it's Tinubu. And if you don't think so, I want to hear what your take is in the comment in the chat area. I want to hear what you have to say about that. Remember, I want to be educated by you when it comes to these things. All right. So with that being said, I think we should go ahead and share some statistics. Let's see how we're doing. I do want to bring you up to speed on what's going on the YouTube channel. We have plans to build this. Okay. And let's see here. Let me share my screen really quickly. There you go. All right, so this is what we're doing right now. Let's see. All right, so we can see we're now at 52. Whoever that is that just subscribed, thank you so much for subscribing. Somebody apparently just subscribed, right? Because it was 51 before I jumped on. In the last 48 hours, we've had 559 views. In the last 60 minutes, we've had 23 views. Okay. Let's see. Again, just so you know, for the gentlemen that are watching this, I have 100 videos that we taped before we went AWire with these live sessions on trendy topics. So if you want those 100, you just want to go to the home page, you click videos, and then you can sort from date added oldest, and they can see all of these different videos about game, about how to move as a man in society, social skills, and things like that. Okay, I think with the exception of one or two videos, this video with the lead attorney is not necessarily one of them, but you can watch that as well. All right, so just so you know, there are 100 videos on this platform already that I do encourage that you go watch at least 3 or 5 of them. They are very short videos that will teach you game in life. Okay, now as you can see, the most recent one, this is probably the last of those videos, of those series of videos. This was released 8 hours ago, has 0 views, so those videos are not getting love yet. So if you're interested in this topic, like for example, this one is when a man triggers you, when a woman triggers you, right? Which happens, that's gonna happen. I don't care how submissive she is. That's gonna happen. It's inevitable. It's called the shit test. Okay, and it will continue to happen for the rest of your life. It will happen less and less, depending on how many of those shit tests you pass. It will happen less and less over time. Okay, the more you feel it, the more you're gonna get it. Okay, so that's a good video. I think you should actually go watch. 0 views in the last 8 hours has been live. All right, so let's look at the analytics and all right, so you can see since we started the live session, there's been a big spike thanks to the Tariq Nasheeds and the trendy Twitter space room that he ran. So that helped. Okay, so you can see that spike over the last few days here. Okay, like I said, we have 52 subscribers right now. We need to get to 1,000. So if you help us share, if you subscribe, you can hit the like button to help us get there. Okay, this is the 559 views in the last 48 hours. Okay, if we go down to the reach, let me just see here. First of all, Watch time would need to be at 4,000 hours, okay, of watch time in any given year. So we're trying to get to 4,000 hours. If I hit this to lifetime, you can see that we have 143. So 143, 4,000 hours. We have a long way to go. Only 120 of it is recorded so far. Okay. So let's keep it at that lifetime. You can see we had some spikes and spikes, and we have the biggest spikes in the last few days. So we have plans to continue to build together, and I need you to come along the journey with me. I will continue to do this up to 1,000 hours and 4,000 hours. Then at that point, I will decide if I want to continue or not. Right now, my decision is I'll probably stop at that point. All right, so let's go to reach. You can see the video has been shown in a lifetime to 26,000 different impressions. Impressions simply means how many times people have been presented the opportunity to watch our video. So they don't have to have clicked on it. Just it showed up somewhere, maybe on the home page of YouTube, on the suggested of under a video, or even in the results of a search, right? If you scroll down here, you can see that our biggest has been the browse feature, which is basically showing on the home page. So, and this is huge because we only have 52 subscribers, and they've shown it how many times? 42% of the time. 42% of 26,000, right, has been shown. YouTube search is the next biggest. Okay, my strength since I've been on YouTube since 2009 has been in the search, because one of my expertise is search engine optimization. But if you look here, we're now second, which I like to keep it that way, 25, because 75% of the traffic on YouTube comes from suggested videos and browse features. So suggested can either be on the YouTube homepage or under other videos, related videos, right? Or based on the experience, basically the algorithms follow the audience, right? So if they think you like a certain type of video, they will show you more of those videos, right? So that I need that to be number one, because 75% of all the traffic on YouTube comes from that. So that's what this is, right? So it says homepage, home screen, subscription, and other browsing features. So also when it shows in the subscription feed of our subscribers, but homepage particularly is huge, right? And then we have suggested. I need suggested to actually move to the second position. So how that's gonna happen? Again, help me hit the like button. Help me share, comment, engage, teach me. Anytime you get an opportunity to teach me, because I don't know more than half of what's going on out there. Okay, but if you can teach me, enlighten me, I always appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, so and then external, in terms of external, we are getting some traffic a little bit from Twitter, okay, because we started a Twitter page for the show. You can find that at Men of Prestige _ okay, on Twitter. All right, so we're following the trending news, so it's bound to happen, right, on Twitter. So boom, boom, boom. And then we have some suggested here. So we have some videos suggesting traffic to us, how to tell if a woman is interested in you. This is based off of some of the videos. Remember the first 100 core videos that I recorded? That's why. Then on the search, we have people, majority of the search results is people searching for Tariq Nasheed. Megan Good, which we covered a few days ago, Man of Prestige, of course, the lead attorney, right, is also getting us some traffic over here. This is just over the lifetime, right, which we know that the lifetime goes back to, what is this, October 18, yes. So we're less than, 4 months in, okay. All right, so in terms of engagement, we know that we have to step up our engagement. Okay, we know that the older videos, like you see, our number one video has been that number one, the first live stream. So we kind of know that the algorithms love live streams on this platform. So for now, we won't stop until it proves otherwise. So there are channels that live stream just doesn't work for. Okay, and for many reasons, it has to do with engagement, has to do with multiple moving variables. And the best you can do is be yourself, and then look at the data, which I am looking at in front of you right now, and then adjust accordingly as time goes. That's all you can do. All right. Um, Yep. So you can see the engagement. We have average view duration is 4 minutes. Okay. 4 minutes. Okay. And we know that average videos is about 10 minutes, because that's going to increase because we're doing this live stream sessions. Okay. Audience. We go to audience. We can see here this blue line is new viewers, and the purple line. So let me reduce this down to 28 days. The purple line is essentially returning viewers. Okay, so we have 11 people returning, new viewers 104. We need to step our game up. We always want to see that new viewer is higher, but we want to move it closer, to always be like a moving variable. We need that over time. Okay, because we need new viewers. Okay, that means YouTube is suggesting our platform to other people, but we also need returning viewers, which means they're engaged. That means they are loving my method of delivering trending news, and the fact that I do pull out real life lessons from them, right? So if they love that over time, I'll be able to see that here, and I'll adjust accordingly, and then also they will suggest more videos for me. So majority of our audience right now in the last 28 days in the United States, I like that because of advertising dollars is going to be more, right? But I don't mind from anywhere, to be frank with you. I can see what my age range is so far. Highest is in the 35 to 44. I really like that because it's matured audience. I don't mind a little younger, but they tend to, especially these people in this time and age, they think everything is in the books, and it's not. It's just not the reality. Okay, everything is in the experience, and that will always continue to be that way. Okay. You can see unique viewers. We've increased in the last 28 days. We've increased by 20 subscribers. We want to continue to do that. So if you're watching this, please subscribe to the channel. If you like, I will have a playlist for all of this YouTube review stuff. If you like it, I will continue. Again, I'm just paying attention to the data, and that's basically how to do business in the digital age. Okay. And that's that. Let me see if there's anything else I could share with you. You probably will see a little bit better, more information under advanced mode. If you ever want me to dig in a little bit deeper into any aspect of this, what I can show you, I do use this tool called the vidIQ. It tells me a little bit more, it gives me a little bit more insight off of my data. So I have it installed. It's available for just Google vidIQ, right? If I click channel audit, you can see that you can see this massive growth over the past 30 days, 404%, and I intend to basically keep it that way. Okay, 54% up in subscribers. If I keep going that way, it's exponential, right? Minutes watched, right? We went from 939 to 7,000 minutes, right? So we just want to keep moving in that direction, right? Based off of what I can see here, I can see that trending now, which is this live stream we're on right now, right? It already has 8 views within the hour, right? Chris Brown, 36% engagement. The first live stream we did has 796 views, 800 views, right? We also broke them out into, right, so this gained 5 subscribers. That's good. So that means I need to continue to take care of the audience if that's what they're here for, right? We can see some competitions that I set up here, some competitions in the manosphere. You know, my data is saying don't worry too much about competition. Focus on whatever the people are coming here for, right? While they still have the choice of going back and watching all the 100 videos of game that I have back there, right? All right, so I can see some of the search results that's getting people here. That's going to change over time because, again, I'm just following the trend. Why am I following the trend? I'm following the trend particularly because I'm swimming with the trend. The same thing I ask you to do in relationships, in marriage, and stuff like that. Sometimes that will, if you don't really read what I just said carefully, You may read it as I'm saying you need to simp. No, I am not asking you to simp. Simp doesn't work either, but you have to pay attention, particularly paying attention to what the trend is saying, and then leverage the power of the trend to still deliver your own personal message, while still being assertive, right? You still need to be assertive. You still need to be yourself, right? With room for growth, because yourself is also limited in terms of uh, you have limitations. You're human like the rest of us. You don't know everything, right? So your blind spot is in listening to other people. Listen to other people, see what they have to say before you try to deliver your rhetorics or your message, so you can make sure it's landing properly. A lot of people are just loud, right? They do the same thing on the internet, and then they wonder why there's no growth, right? They're just loud, and they get aggressive, and people just run from you, right? So that's that. That's what I have for you today, and hopefully, we drop some message there. I want to see how this perform. I'm watching everything. There is a video that I wanted to respond to. Let me see if I can do that really quickly, and then we'll end the live stream for the day. How is that? All right, let's go to. So this is something I picked up from Nick and Knight. So I started following her heavy again since the day that.
Not let you see them if you're just a
Since the day that she headbutt with the lead attorney. But I heard this on one of the live stream that she did, and I thought I should call the cop. so I'm probably gonna have a segment where I'm calling cops. You know, I need to create like a big emoji or something like that around that. Yeah, let's see. So this is a quick segment. Let's go right.
girlfriend, because like two other girls could be like, well, I'm his girlfriend
facts.
too.
That's
I'm
facts.
his girlfriend too. I'm his this. I'm his that. The mom can be like, well, that's my son. But when you're the wife, you have a certain priority over everyone else.
That's facts.
I'm
Are
not
you
even.
married, Boel?
I'm like in the process of, like, for instance, I've been like proposed to, but I'm just not sure if he's
Good
the
luck
one.
with that guy.
All right. So she asked, "Are you married?" She had a lot to say about marriage, apparently, and relationships and all this, blah blah blah, back and forth. And she asked, "Are you married?" And then that's really a yes or no question, right? So let's test with me, right? let's just test it with me, right? And I'm not being petty. I'm just saying you hear this a lot, and man, you need to learn how to handle this. Just know that it's normal, right? But I hear a lot of men doing this too. Ask me. Let's test with me. Are you married, Ola? Yes, I am married. It's a yes or no, right? Right. Now, if I have additional context, I can add onto that. But I didn't really hear the yes, But let me back that up a little second. Let me help me out. Maybe you heard the yes or no.
Process of, like, for instance, I've been like proposed to, but I'm just not sure if he's
Good
the
luck
one.
with that guy.
Are you a fiance right now, or you?
We went to look at the rings. We went.
Wait. Another question. Another straightforward question. Yes or no question. Are you a fiance right now? Yes or no? We don't have to say yes or no to know that that's a yes or no. We went to look at the rings. What the hell is that? All right. So I guess that means I'm about to be a fiance. Oh, so we should put an option on there that says I'm about to be a fiance, or what was it? I am in the process. Let's go back a little bit.
Facts.
I'm
Are
not
you
even.
married, Boel?
I'm like in the process of.
So we should had. So are you married right now? Yes, no. I am like in the process. All right. And what's the other option?
Like, for instance, I've been like proposed to, but I'm just not sure.
I've been like proposed to, but I'm not sure. Oh, interesting. You're not sure. Now, a part of me wants to say, if you're not sure, why are you considering it? Another part of me wants to say, like, there's no perfect people out there, right? Let's keep going.
If he's
Good
the
luck
one.
with that guy.
Are you a fiance right now, or you?
We went to look at the rings. We went to look at the rings, but there's a girl in here named Shaw Dropper. I've talked about this before. She might know, but I'm just having some issues whether or not he's the right one for me. Like I don't want to just
He
marry a
wasn't picking the
man.
right ring, huh?
He said he wasn't picking the right ring, huh? Now, this when I hear this kind of stuff, then I can acknowledge that, like, yeah, the dating scene is really, really problem. A lot of problems right now. So a lot of people they're not sure of themselves. Who should we blame for that? The men, the women, right? But for me personally, I like to address whoever is complaining, right? Not men or women. If you're complaining, I like to address you. What is it about you that's attracting this situation? Why are you in a relationship with a person that you're not sure that you see yourself with them long term? Is it because of fear of the unknown? Are you afraid? What do you think? Why would somebody be in a relationship with a person that they don't see themselves long term? I am confused. I've never been in this position before. If I wasn't sure, I didn't even give them a title. I didn't even give them the girlfriend title. If I wasn't sure, right? They're a friend. They're just a friend until further notice. Until I absolutely cannot see myself with this person. But you see people in full-blown relationships with people that they don't even see a future with.
I don't want to settle, and I'm at the age where unfortunately I'm starting to feel like I just need to. But it's
She doesn't want to settle. There's also a conflicting view between settling and compromise and just being realistic. We also see that. Is it because people have a false sense of options out here? I'm just curious. Okay, but I think we can all agree that this is problematic. If you have a few millions of people doing this, that's why there's gender war going on. Especially a woman of a certain age not knowing, not being sure how to discern and know if she sees herself with somebody. Because again, if she doesn't leave the room available for the right people and she's engaged with the wrong people, how does she want the right person to come in, right?
that's why I'm saying I don't want women to feel like you have to get married. But for me, like that should be a goal or some type of commitment because it's too hard out here. I'm sorry, men, but you guys, we need an extra buffer. We need an extra buffer of commitment out here because you guys are just
So you
Wow.
want security, basically. It sounds like a lot of the
It sounds like insurance.
yeah.
So somebody said she wants security. The other person said, Nick said she wants security. The other person is insurance. Insurance is more so like just in case of insurance is just in case something happens. Security is more so I feel secure, right? I feel secure in this situation. I'm willing to move in faith, right? You could feel secure. I'm still moving faith because you don't know. Insurance means I need to be sure. So the gentleman is right that it sounds like you're looking for some kind of insurance, right? Against the potential that this could be wrong, right? Yeah, when you approach marriage and relationships this way, you will attract what you fear the most. I see it happen over and over and over again. It doesn't matter if you're a man, if you're approaching relationships and marriage with the best case scenario in the back of your mind, you will attract what you fear the most. Basically, you're willing to take no risk. Even in business, we know that we have to take a certain level of risk, right? Yeah. So yeah, that's right there. I just thought I should come here and share some of those insights with you. That's really what I have today with you. That's what I have today for you. And I look forward to this session every day. Just all you have to do is help me. Hit the like button. Okay, hit the like button. Share it with people you think will benefit from this. I want to hear your comments. If you're live with me, and also in the chats, I appreciate all the people that came to the chat today. Sir Hill, Oceans 1313, I appreciate you, you friends. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and please again, like I said, hit the like button. Let me just make sure I'm sharing the right thing here. Let's hit that like button, right? Hit the share button. Okay, these are ways that you can help me share the words. Okay, comment if you're watching a rebroadcast. Okay, the more you comment, the more the algorithms will read this as we're doing the right thing. Let me just see something here, and there's something I'm trying to pull up. Okay, yep, that's it. I just want to make sure that we that we end properly, right? Men of prestige, if you're here, you're a lady, I appreciate you as well. As you can see, we'll continue to bring this news, trendy news and stuff like that. And then as soon as we're ready, we'll start bringing people to cam up as well. But for now, we're just building. And I want you on the journey with me. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I will see you on the next one, and peace.